Hi everyone, my name is Delaney and I'm going to be sharing my heart and my testimony with you. So thank you for taking some time to just learn more about me, and hopefully I can just draw you a little bit closer to God. So to start off my story, I've always been Catholic, cradle Catholic. Growing up, we didn't really practice faith that much. I went to church occasionally. We went to religious ed classes. I went to First Holy Communion and got confirmed, but throughout the years I wasn't at church too much and didn't know too much about the faith logistically or what it really meant. I'd say that I first started kind of drawing closer to God maybe in 7th, 8th grade, high school, when I started going on more retreats, joining the student leadership team at my church. But it was always really hard for me to know like the background of the faith and to really understand why things were the way they were. And my family, again, like I said, we didn't practice that much, so it was hard for me to do this independently. But I had a good group of friends and we kind of got ourselves into a lot of retreats, and I learned more about the faith that way. And I'd say when I was getting confirmed, I started coming back to church more with my dad, who I started developing a relationship with actually later on in my life when I was a teenager and going through those things in 7th, 8th, 9th grade. I was super close to my mom growing up. My dad wasn't around in my life a bunch, not because he didn't want to be, but I just didn't have a very strong relationship with him. When my parents got divorced, it forced me to have that relationship with my dad, which I'm super thankful for. As I grew kind of away from my mom as she got remarried, I grew closer to my dad, and that was really hard at first, not growing up with him a lot, not knowing him, but our relationship was very strong for a couple of years as I started getting to know him and about his faith and as he led me back. And then my freshman year of high school, my dad passed away, and it was really hard for me, but I think I treated the whole thing like I was very optimistic. I always thought I had this strong faith, which in hindsight I think I did, but looking back now, as I've started to actually go through the grieving process in the past couple of months and learning more about my faith in God and Jesus, I can see a lot and I have a lot of clarity in what God has placed before me. But I would say losing my dad when I did, and the nature of our relationship before he passed, and not growing up with him as a strong father figure, was something that's proven to be a really big challenge for me. And I know that for a really long time I searched for love in the wrong places, and I searched for attention and for recognition and for worth in my friends and other things and other people and guys especially, and I just always felt like it wasn't enough, because the truth is, I know now that it isn't enough. It's all on this side of heaven. It's all right here on earth, and there are great things and there are great people and there are great moments to be had, but what we really need is God. We need Jesus, and I learned that he's the only one that can really fill my soul and my heart and just stop that aching that I feel and that pain from losing my dad and from having a challenging family situation. And I just like to acknowledge the help I've had through counseling and therapy and through hard conversations and a lot of self-discovery and growth. And I know another important part of my testimony is what I went through in the process in college, trying to find myself and who I was, searching again for love in some of the wrong places and departments that I worked for. Working for campus ministry was a really big struggle for me because I wanted my worth and my recognition, my dignity to be found there. And again, people come up short, people make mistakes, and that's okay. But God, he doesn't make mistakes, and he does everything with so much purpose and so much intentionality. And that is why I just want so badly for people to turn to God, to turn to his joy and his love, his courage that can just change hearts and minds and souls. And so I think people expect testimonies to kind of be these these big firework moments, and sometimes they are, and sometimes that's the way it happens for people, but I would definitely say that my testimony has been one of slow and steady growth, of discovering, of painful times and lonely times, and times where I didn't feel good enough, where I felt like I was coming up short. But now I know the truth that I never come up short, that I am always loved and seen and known and worthy in God's eyes. And my faith has evolved so much through all of this, and I really just want other people to try and turn to God in all of the brokenness that can happen in our lives. There can be so much joy too, and He wants to give that to us. He wants to give us that peace, and I am so blessed and grateful and thankful that He did that for me, that He changed my life in that way. And it's just, wherever you're at in life, wherever you've gone, wherever you've been, there is always something that God can work through. And so I just pray that my testimony can help you in some way, or show you something new about God. And I just hope that you can really turn to Him in all of your struggles and your pain and your disbelief, and see the way that He can turn your heart to joy, greater joy. I know there's a quote that I want to end on. It goes something like, maybe you're tired and you're dirty and you've been looking for love in all the wrong places. And that was something that was super apparent to me for a really long time. But then it goes on to say just how God can always change things. He can always turn it back to them, that no matter who you are, who you've been, where you want to be, He is able to make life work right. So I hope love abounds in your life. Thank you for listening to my heart and my testimony, and I pray for just so much goodness and joy in your life, that no matter how broken up your life feels, that you'll let God put it back together just so much more beautifully. Thank you.